Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. I've just done a Napoleonic commission update video. Sit back, Gav. You're scaring the people. I've done an update, so I've still got my little black cards that I put stuff up so I can film stuff on. It's all rigged up, so I just thought, what the hell, I'll do this video now to anybody that's interested. As you know, I've been painting a bust of a Battle of Britain fighter pilot. It's more actually for a tribute to my pup who I lost, my dog I lost 2 years ago, Barkley. Anyway, that's not for that. There'll be a reveal of that coming up in the next 5, 6, 7 days. I've literally just taken delivery of this. Let me just close the box so you can get a better idea of it. It's actually a smaller box than normal. This is from I bought these from, let me just turn around and see if I can give them a plug. Sorry, creaky chair. Greco Miniatures here in the UK. They sell, strange enough, miniatures of all descriptions from 35mm, I believe some like 32mm, steampunk type stuff if you're into your steampunk, which some of you are. They also do that scale for very reasonable rates, and they go right up to obviously the busts that I paint and the display figures and that. You get absolutely first class service with them. I have no connection to them whatsoever. I just buy from them. I just enjoy the service. That's their details there. Greco Miniatures, hope you've got that. They do all the extra bits. They've started doing a few more extra bits. I know, I don't think it was military modeller Paul had bought some. I don't know if it was from El Greco or not, but like the little brass plinths, well, they're not the actual plinths themselves, but they go into the wooden plinths. I have no idea really what these are supposed to be called, really. Rustic, oh, they call them plinths as well. Rustic brass plinth, that is. It's about that's the larger one, it might be £7, 6 or 7 quid. You put it into the base of the bust and then into the plinth. And they do different types. They've got some plastic ones as well if you want, but obviously brass looks better. And I've got a couple of sizes, mainly for that fighter pilot, which I'm pointing to, which you can't see. And it's not back there, it's here, but you get the picture. Anyway, I was buying another bust. I always go on there. Sometimes even when I'm not looking to buy anything, I just enjoy looking at seeing what's around in the figure world, and I will be doing some 75mm figures as well at some stage. I just had to wait to get paid from commission to actually get this, but I have as quick as it goes in one hand. The wife takes most of it, but she lets me have a bit, and then it gets spent real quick. So I've bought this. It's a Alexandros models figures, and they're in Barcelona in Spain. We'll get a better look when I get it on the bench, and you can see it. Now, I'm a massive fan of Japanese ukiyo-e woodcuts, prints. So if you the only one a lot of people might, if you're not into it, is called the Wave, the Great Wave, Great Big Wave, some fishing boats. You might have seen that one, I don't know, but I'm into that type of stuff. And like Japanese culture, obviously the samurai, being a military history buff, samurai and things like that. Anyway, so I saw this, and one last look there, you can see the kimono. It was the kimono that how to paint something like that. Now I'm not going to be able to paint that kimono. It'll be different anyway, but I will not be, and there's a backward view of it. I will not be able to paint to the box art standard, just like the fighter pilot. I'm way down the rankings for that. Now this is an Oiran, as far as I mean, there's no explanation on it. It's actually Oira no Tokoro no Nessan, and then in brackets Oiran. Well, an Oiran is a high class courtesan, a sex worker. If you want to put it that way, but Oiran is in up until 1957, when that part of their trade was abolished, but it goes back centuries, and they were courtesans of different classes, but they were the high class courtesans, and from what I've been reading up on that, it's like a year's wages for whatever you want to do with a high class courtesan. Put an age related thing on this at this rate, but I've got this mainly. There's two figures. I don't know if Alexandros do the other figure. There's one with a cat on. I'm not a massive cat lover, and there's a lot of you that are, and so you could still paint a nice kimono, but and she's feeding the cat or something on the shoulder or whatever. It's that bit. If it wasn't, I probably will end up getting it at some stage if it's still around. It's just like buying scale models, except for these are in a lot more shorter runs when they're not being recast. If you see a particular bust or 75mm figure, 54mm, whatever it is, it's always best if you've got the money and you really want that figure, is to get it, because once they're gone, it's when they come around again, if that makes sense. You can put an order in with someone like El Greco and they'll do their best to get it, but it really just depends, obviously, when the company's casting more. And I saw that, and I was actually going to pick I'd said to you guys on how complicated for a beginner the Fighter Pilot bust was, and now I've only done 5 or 6 busts with this one, and so I am a beginner. But I also do paint, and although I don't, obviously my paint varies from 28mm War Games figures up to busts and larger figures. I'm not some top class painter, so sometimes it's easier to start off with a more simplified bust, so you're not sticking lots of bits on, you're not getting in nooks and crannies where it's just something a bit simpler. And I've got a plan to do another one, which I won't go into at the moment because I haven't bought it. Don't want a mad rush and somebody outbid me and then I can't get it. And there was another one I wanted, another samurai figure, figure, bust I was going to do. And I just saw this and I kept going back to it, and I think, oh Gav, that's way too complicated for you. And I kept looking at the kimono and the obi and all that, and I just thinking, that's the tie that goes around the front. Although on an Oiran, I think it's slightly different. Yeah, I just thought this is going to be hard. Now she looks like she's performing like a no is it called the plays anyway in Japan. So you have the two masks there, bad guy, good guy type of thing. And I kept thinking, oh, this is a complication here, but I'll give it a go. And so I have. We've done the purchase. It's all in bits in front of me, and I think we should go down and take a look just at the casting. You won't see it for a while, as usual with me. I will go into more bits as we're at the desk. I always feel myself with. I know a bit more on the subject than I'm actually saying to you guys. It's just that I always feel myself with self-doubt that I'm not saying the right stuff, so then I don't say it. Because you know what it's like, you just get sledged or picked up for it. Oh, that's not right. Or that's so. I don't tend to say half of what's in the noodle here. But anyway, join me at the bench, guys, and we'll have a look. Right, guys, thank you for joining me at the bench. So we'll have probably a closer look at this now. I really cannot see that I can. Let's get in closer. I cannot see me getting the type of details that the box art painter. That's why they paint box art, because they're at the top of the game. And unfortunately, I'm not. But I really had to, I just love ukiyo artwork, or ukiyo-e artwork, and I've got a couple more books coming, actually, just cheap eBay books coming today, I believe. I will probably do mine in some form of floral designs. The only thing that you're going to, with this, it could be easier, it could be harder. The actual face is obviously white make-upped, and you can put varying degrees of how much pink you want to put into it. So you're not really teaching yourself to do, in one sense, flesh, because obviously the face is make-upped up. They had different hairstyles for different ceremonies and different reasons. There'd be different hairstyles, and these combs, when you see a ukiyo art print, they've sometimes put loads and loads in them, and you think there's no way they could have fitted all them in there in real life. But yeah, you've got all these are made of tortoise shell and coral. So yeah, that's the box. Let's give Alexandros a plug here. There we go. Again, I've got no connection to these guys whatsoever. Now that I've got one, I suppose, complaint. Let's call it a complaint, and that is. Let me get down on the. Right, let's just move around a bit. All of that, which you'll see in close in a minute. Oh, well done, Gavin. All of that came in that bag. Now there was a bit of straw. At the moment, a lot of the boutique, very expensive busts, they come in like little wooden boxes, and they've got stickers and I just that type of thing. I want to paint the figure. I don't need all the straw and the stickers and all the rest of it. I've got no interest in that whatsoever. Keep the price down and give me the product. You don't need to make it boutique. I'm sorry, I'm not one of these for the buying experience. I'm for the actual painting the bust or the figure experience. So I'm just a bit disappointed. El Greco packed it fantastic. The box was nice and tight. You've seen the box. It is a small box compared to some I've had. It was tight, but there was a lot of resin in there, knocking around with some very, very dainty parts. Right, let's look at the important bit first, which on a bust it's always the face. You can put as many fancy bits on as you like, but you're looking at faces on busts. That's what sells the bust to potential people like me. And if you've got them on display, it's obviously what people look at. Now, I apologise, it's quite light resin, so it might shine a bit. That's the best I can do. Some very, very dainty flowers. These are for the combs and pieces, so don't worry about that. They'll have combs and that in them. Very fine details on the face, very smooth. And again, all smooth around here. We will have some clean up to do. There is a mould line which I already checked out on the hair here, and obviously along here, so that's going to take some delicate smoothing out just to keep everything as smooth as the rest of the resin. Some nice detail on the comb there. Again, it's hard for me to also, I've had a brief look, but not 100%. On here, let's just fit this on for you. I can't actually get it to stop, obviously, but that'll be our hair. Again, there'll be bits to be filled just to stop gap, to hide some of the gaps. I don't particularly have a problem with that. You've got to break a complicated figure, in my opinion, down like this to multi-part. As you can see, it's got quite good positioning lugs there for you to put it in place. Whether you decide to pin things is entirely up to you. I really like that face. As I say, it's if you go on the box art, it might be a pale face, but you can get a lot a lot out of it. What I might do is, if I remember, and you know me, I might not, is put a link up to one of the modern Oiran parades. They've got like an Edo period theme park almost, if you want to call it that, and they do Oiran parades, because the Oiran would, when going out, would have a specific walk, specific clothes. It's really ritualized, and they still do it now just to show people what it used to look like. If you see modern geishas, there's a difference between, obviously, a geisha is an entertainer, not a courtesan. I'm using the word courtesan, it's probably better, nicer to say. But these guys here, I mean, you'd literally, I think they had to meet a client 3 times before anything would happen. And the first time they'd meet and they wouldn't even speak to them, and they'd just watch them from another table, and they'd see how much money they got and all this. It's really, you've got to read it up. Put Oiran in the Wikipedia and read up on that. But there's obviously loads of other places you can read up on it. This is our torso. Again, I'm really quite happy with all that. It's weird after doing the fighter pilot bust with all the straps and all the very deep crevices crevices even you had to get into. I don't know, looking at that, if that's anything. I don't know if that's just a casting hole that's going to have to be filled or not. I'll let you know on that one when I'm starting to work on it. But there is bits of clean up to do, as you can see under there, and there will be a mould line, I would imagine, somewhere in amongst that lot. I'll give you a rough idea again if I'm getting these the right way round. No, that's the wrong one. Let's try that one, Gav. We'll get there in a minute. I've never been any good at jigsaw puzzles. There we go. So that'll give you roughly an idea. Again, you're not going to really, there will be bits to fill in that. There's no way that's not going to need some type of filling, I'd imagine. Again, you've got to be careful sometimes when you fill in some gaps. Sometimes they're not normally, there might be a natural gap between the different textures. So these are our hair combs going, very fiddly. As I say, to have that all shoved in with a big torso like that and the head and that, and have it just shoved in one bag was a bit silly in my opinion. I think they could have done better on that. To say that this was £46 to start with, without I believe that was with the VAT on top. It's cost me literally, I swear it's cost me about a tenner in VAT alone. Tax, if anybody's outside the UK. And they're always very good on the price for I think it cost me about £3.80 with sign for postage. But yeah, the whole lot's probably cost me in the region of about £60, I imagine. Painting busts is not for the faint-hearted. You can get some cheaper ones, and the galling thing was the one I was going to do was about a £32 bust, but never mind. The hands, absolutely fantastic. Mould line again, so we have to be very careful on that. Nice bit of light sanding. I tend to use just wet and dry rather than a sanding stick, because I don't want to flatten it out. But really nice. And there's the one with the arm that holds the devil type. I can't remember the names of those. I did used to remember them all, but we've got a nice little casting plug there. Now that's going to, depending on how she holds the mask, be very careful trying to sand that down and removing it. Got a casting plug there as well by the look of it. That's there for the hand to go on, by the way. I've not seen, apart from that one on the edge of the kimono, and there might be the odd one. As I say, this isn't a perfect, pointing out and every single blemish on there, but I do my best. There's a very slight nick there. It's surprising if you don't take care of things like that. It's like on a model aircraft; they soon show up. So again, with these teeth in one bag, I'm surprised he's still got his teeth left, but he has. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic, isn't it? That's a sculpt in itself. And this is I've got a slight, again, just have to sand that. So there is a bit of probably more sanding on this one than on the fighter pilot bust. But in some senses, that it's almost part of the enjoyment of doing these. You're taking it from all the. It's like a scale model. You're taking it from all the component parts, and you're making what you make of it. So that's that. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, let's get this on here now. Where is he? There we are. Ebroin, or Ebroin. He's got a YouTube channel. He sometimes shows. I don't remember him doing this one on his channel, but he will actually video himself making these busts. He's done several that I've recognised before, not that I own, but I think that's the first one of his I own. But he's also a passionate scale modeller as well. He especially loves his ships. He's doing these huge Bismarcks and that, but he actually literally takes them back to the plans and takes bits off and scratch builds. But yeah, Abrion is a first class sculptor and a fellow YouTuber with quite a large following. Anyway, guys, I'm waffling as I always do. Thanks for taking a look at this bust. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it's what I do, and I like to show things when they come hit the doormat, and to obviously get you to see something in its raw state before I start putting a brush on. And just like the fighter pilot bust, I'll obviously be putting it up in stages. From literally, I don't think we'll do the cleaning up part again because you know how to do that. But I'll just mention again the tools I use as I've done it and things like that. But got a couple of 3 weeks before this one kicks off, but it will do at some stage. Look after yourselves. Thanks for joining me on another video. I know I put a lot up, and just pick and choose the ones that you're interested in, because I enjoy doing them, and I enjoy the interaction with you guys. So look after yourselves, and we'll catch each other very soon on another video.